I'm going to start by looking at what do network engineers do, or people that work in networks do on a day-to-day basis. Hey, welcome back to this channel. My goal is to be a resource for those that are starting their career in the network industry through tutorials, course reviews, tips and guides just like this one. So if you're new here, welcome. Alright, so back to our title. We're going to be looking at the overview of a career in networking. I'm going to start by looking at what do network engineers do, or people that work in networks do on a day-to-day basis. The first aspect is they manage the LAN and the WAN. So I know you're probably asking yourself, what is LAN, what is WAN? LAN by definition is a local area network, and we're talking about a local area network. We're basically referring to the network within your organization. So this is your organization, and this will be a local area network. Inside, you're going to find PCs, you're going to find servers. As long as they are within your organization, they are considered as a local area network. The best example that you can think of is your home network. You got your TV connected, you got your phone, you got your mobile device. That is a local area network. Where the WAN basically starts is when you now want to access the internet. And now you need to leave the confines of your home or your office network to try and get to the internet. This is now called a wide area network. So these are the two primary aspects of networking that network engineers basically focus on managing on a day-to-day basis. So our responsibility is managing traffic from point A going to point B. And point B can be multiple things. This could be a server, this could be a printer, and this could be the internet. It does not really matter. Our job is to make sure that the traffic flow from point A to point B operates in a way that is consistent with very good performance. When this traffic flow gets affected, our responsibility is to fix this and make sure that it is working. Now there are two aspects to networks. First, there is the physical cable. This is when you connect your computer to the network physically, or there is the wireless. If you're going to be working in networking, these are the systems that you're going to be managing or operating on a day-to-day basis. So now that we have an understanding of the general overview of what a networking role contains, we're going to be looking at four primary devices that you're likely going to find on every network. The first one is a switch. Now many of you have seen a switch. It probably looks something like this, and it's got multiple ports, and off these ports you connect devices like your server. You can connect your PC, you can connect your printer. The switch provides us with local area access network on our particular network. Then the second device is known as a router. Now remember, I said to you earlier on that when you leave your local area network and you go towards the internet, you need a router which carries your traffic from your LAN to your WAN. This is the router. The switch and the router are devices that are going to be your primary focus in managing and configuring on your network. The two other devices are the firewall. Now the firewall, your network can do without a firewall. A firewall is a security device that basically controls access to and out of your network. So this is a security device that you're likely going to encounter. And then the fourth one is wireless. Almost every organization nowadays has some form of wireless in their network. So your primary responsibility as a network technician, network engineer, network administrator is going to be managing this infrastructure and making sure that data moves from point A to point B without any disruptions. So now that we have an understanding of the general overview and what a day-to-day looks like for a networking role, we're now going to look at the different levels that you can work in terms of network. So I've changed the color of my marker, and the first one, I'm going to call it level 1, and this is the entry level. And this is where you're probably going to start. Most common positions is network technician. So the role of a network technician is to be the first level of support. When users have an issue with the network, they're probably going to pick up the phone and call the help desk. The network technician is likely going to be the person who's going to answer that call. Their primary responsibility is to try and establish the root cause that is causing issues to end users. So they might have a script, and that script might say if someone calls and their network is down, ask question A, B, C, and D in an effort to establish the root cause of the problem. So a network technician does that. They do basic support on a network. They are also primarily the hands and feet for the network, and I'm probably going to explain this. Most organizations don't have their senior network resources on site. So you might have a network technician who is a resident on site, and when there's an issue or there's a router that needs to be replaced or switch that needs to be taken out, the network technician is the one that goes to the data center and with the instruction of the senior engineer unplugs a switch and plugs a cable. So as a network technician, you're going to be doing majority hands and feet. And then the other primary one is cabling. Cabling involves so much manual work. So as a network technician, you're likely going to cable quite a lot, terminating cables, running cables through patch panels, terminating endpoints in the organization to the network. So this is basically your entry level role that you would come across. So I'm going to refer to it as level 1 or network technician. When you graduate from being a network technician, the next stage is network administrator, and that is considered a level 2 position. At this point, you're now trusted with configuring network devices. You become an escalation point to the guys who are level 1 technicians. Because remember, whatever level 1 can fix, they need to pass it on to someone else who can fix it. Level 2s are the ones that are given those tickets, and they can then institute further troubleshooting and being able to rectify the problem. The third level is known as a network engineer. Now, network engineers are tasked with solving complex network issues. That's one of their primary responsibility. They are also network designers, so they design and architect network solutions depending on the organization, and they manage the entire infrastructure of a business. So as a network engineer, it will be your responsibility to look after the network of an organization. I work at an airport, and we have a team of network engineers, which I am part of. It is our responsibility to ensure that the network is running, and in the event of any issues, we need to be able to fix the network. And the fourth level, I know most of you are not anywhere near this stage, but if you're looking for a career path, it is known as a network architect. This is the highest level that you can get in terms of networking before you become a network manager. The focus of a network architect is basically architecting complex solutions to line up with the business. I know that's a mouthful, so I'll break it down. Let's say you are shifting your infrastructure to the cloud. and you are going to be operating in a data center sitting in the cloud. It could be Azure, it could be AWS. It is the role of the network architect to design how that network is going to look like and how it's going to interact with other business systems. They don't do the configuration. They will do the architecting of the solution, and then they will hand over to the network engineers like myself, who then go and implement the solution. So these are the four categories or levels that are most common in the network industry. So if you are anticipating to grow your career in networking, most people, or if not everyone, starts at level 1, network technician, and they grow to network administrator, network engineer, network architect. Now I'm going to be looking at the importance of certifications. If you've looked up networking, you've probably heard about network certifications. And if you don't know what they are, I'm probably going to be breaking down. But before we do that, I want you to take a step back and remember the 4 devices that I covered earlier on. And I said we've got a switch, router, firewall, and wireless. Now these devices are provided by different vendors, right? Most common vendors are the likes of Cisco. We've got Palo Alto. We have Fortinet. So because most of these vendors are the ones that are supplying the equipment that's running on your network, the vendors run courses known as certifications to allow you to understand how their infrastructure works. So when we're talking about certifications in networking, all we're basically referencing to is the different vendor courses that allow you to have much better knowledge on operating their systems. The 3 most common vendors, if you're looking at networking, is Cisco, which offers the course CCNA, CCNP. We have Juniper. Juniper is a vendor that is very common in North America, so US and Canada. And then probably I'm going to put Fortinet. Is another vendor that focuses on firewalls. So these are the 3 vendors that you're likely going to encounter. So depending on what infrastructure your organization is using, you're going to need to certify in either of these vendors. And the reason why you're certifying is less about the certification, but it's more about acquiring the knowledge that the vendor provides. The other primary reason why certification is probably going to be important to you is because the industry tends to use certifications as a measurement of your understanding of vendor infrastructure. So if an organization is running Cisco equipment, their expectation is if you got a CCNA, then at least you got an understanding of how Cisco devices work. If you are running Juniper in your network, you want to employ someone who has some Juniper experience. And this is across technologies. I mean, if you're a garage that runs BMW cars and you're employing a mechanic, clearly a mechanic who has a certification in BMW cars is going to be much better considered than someone who does not have an understanding on BMW as a motor vehicle and how it basically operates. So certifications have a way of skewing the way that employers are going to perceive you. Certifications play a role in the industry for these particular reasons. And I'm just going to close it off by giving you, 1 or 2 technologies that we deal with in networks. So the 2 technologies that we use is something known as an IP address. Now every device that is on the network needs an address, and most of the devices, if not all of them, are going to have an IP address. This IP address is what locates a device on the network. So whether it's a printer, it's a server, it needs an IP address, even a website. We reach websites online because of their IP addresses. So if you're considering a career in networking, IP addressing is a very important topic that you need to understand. Very fundamental topic. And I'm probably going to close off by looking at 3 protocols One is HTTP, which is the most common protocol that we all use on a day-to-day basis, which gives us access to web pages. Any website that is running is going to be running HTTP. We have BGP. Now this one is more complex. Probably hearing for the first time. You've not heard about this one. It's called a border gateway protocol. This is the protocol that runs the internet. Without BGP, the internet will be non-existent. So BGP gives us access to the internet. And the last one is probably going to be FTP, which is file transfer protocol. This is the protocol that helps us transfer files on our network. I'm just giving you this as a bonus to this video so that you can kind of grasp or get an understanding of what it is that we cover when we are looking at networks. Alright, so I trust that you found value in this video and you probably got an understanding of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis in networking, and you have a picture of where you can start and where you can grow to. It is a matter of your commitment and your desire to grow, and the world is at your feet. If you've got any questions, please leave in the comment section. I will make sure that I will respond. And once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.